Think you know what happens when a massive multinational corporation invades a local economy? You probably picture them just totally crushing local businesses, right? Well, actually, you'd be entirely wrong. Today, we're diving into this explainer to expose a massive economic myth. Let's look at the totally counterintuitive truth behind Walmart's invasion of Mexico.
Now, common sense tells us that a multinational heavyweight is just going to squash local manufacturing. It's the classic story, the big guy always eats the little guy. But guess what? Common sense is completely wrong here. As we'll see, the data paints a vastly different and honestly a much more fascinating picture.
Instead of this total massacre, the numbers reveal a brutal yet magnificent market evolution. Walmart didn't destroy Mexico's strongest suppliers at all. It actually weaponized them. It created this incredibly high-stakes environment where literally only the most adaptable survived.
Section 1. The Counterintuitive Invasion Truth.
To really grasp this shockwave, we have to look back to 1991. That's when Walmart first set foot in Mexico. And within just a single decade, by 2001, their Mexican arm, Walmex, controlled nearly 50% of the country's entire retail market. This wasn't just corporate growth. This was a massive catalyst that forced every single supplier to wake up or die.
Which brings us to part 2, Walmart's brutal survival rules.
Walmex didn't just bring in some shiny new storefronts. They brought a ruthless operational revolution. We're talking centralized warehouses, standardized shipping pallets, and impossibly strict, down-to-the-minute delivery windows. If you missed an appointment, bam, you faced immediate financial penalties. You had to play by their standardized rules or you just couldn't play at all.
So they basically offered suppliers the ultimate double-edged sword. On one hand, you get the holy grail, national reach, and incredibly reliable on-time cash flow. But on the other, they wielded a heavy price-cutting axe in exchange. They demanded straight-up 5 to 25% price cuts compared to other retailers. And if you didn't upgrade your product, they demanded further price drops every single year.
Section 3. The life or death split. This brutal ultimatum created an immediate, violent fracture in Mexican manufacturing. It was literally a life-or-death choice. If you made a highly desirable product, you swallowed the price cuts, you innovated, and you rode the Walmex wave to massive growth. But if you made a weak, low-appeal product, you just retreated to traditional local stores and slowly suffocated as your market share completely vanished.
We're not talking about some abstract academic theory here. This is pure, high-stakes natural selection in the business world. You either evolve to meet the giant's demands, or you get completely erased from the map. It's a classic market shakeout.
Let's look at Section 4. Hard data reveals the reality.
Researchers actually tracked the hard data from 1993 to 2002, and the sales reality here is absolutely shocking. The numbers speak for themselves. The smallest suppliers saw their sales completely fall off a cliff, but the large firms, they experienced explosive growth. The strong got incredibly stronger and the weak just rapidly died out.
So why exactly did the large firms win? Simply put, they spent the money required to survive. To beat the Walmex price axe, large firms had to aggressively pump cash into research and development. They literally had to innovate to avoid those crushing penalties. Meanwhile, the dying small firms just stopped investing entirely.
It's the ultimate evolve or die scenario. The winning firms didn't just sell more boxes, right? They fundamentally upgraded their entire corporate DNA. They started importing better materials. They paid their workers significantly higher wages to manage superior technology. They stepped up and they dominated the market.
Moving to Section 5. The researcher's flawed prediction.
Now, here is where even brilliant economists get completely slapped in the face by reality. Their dynamic model confidently predicted that quality-adjusted prices would drop across the board for these suppliers. But the hard data? It showed overall prices actually increased. Their perfect prediction completely broke down. So why did that happen?
Because the real world is infinitely messier than a perfect dynamic model. This just goes to show that massive external shocks, like a sudden flood of cheap Chinese imports entering the market, can disrupt even the most perfectly calculated economic equations. You just cannot model business survival in a total vacuum.
Which leads us to our final part, Section 6, the ultimate survival lesson.
So, what's the ultimate takeaway from this ruthless decade of retail warfare? The productivity gains of an entire nation's industry were almost entirely carried on the backs of the largest, most adaptable firms. The few who actually chose to step into the ring with the giant, they ended up carrying the entire economy forward.
That is the cold, hard truth of the matter. Walmex didn't destroy Mexican manufacturing. Instead, it acted as a brutal, highly effective filter. It forced the absolute best companies to become world-class, while quietly erasing the rest from existence.
The rules of business evolution are written in hard data, not sentiment. So you have to ask yourself, are you building a product strong enough to survive the invasion? Next time a giant knocks on your door, will you be the prey or will you be the winner?